Hello, everybody. How you doing? This is David and
Brad.
Here's Brad.
Good evening.
Hey there. We're going to hang on as get some people joining. How's everybody doing this evening? Let us know you're here. It's always a good thing.
Okay.
We got 4 of us. There he is. Good evening. How you doing today? 4 of us. Here we go. All right. Very good.
All right.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Howdy.
So feel free, if you have any questions about our trip, we're going to kind of debrief a bit about it and talk to you as well about our visit to PS Audio, which I'll be releasing a video on in the next day or two. Definitely wanted to get the pressing plant ones done. Matter of fact, I got an email from Gary Sahlstrom bright and early this morning because I sent him a link to tell him it was up. He goes, geez, that was fast. Like, well,
don't mess around here.
Yeah, no, gotta get her done. Yeah, you kind of want to, after you do that work, you kind of want to get it out there, of course, because that's why you do it. So, but again, if you have any questions during our discussion and anything you want to ask, I'll answer what I can. There's some things I don't know. There's some topics I want to stay away from because I signed an NDA, and and Brad did too. So, but generally, it was just for my own, peace of mind in a way, because I really wanted to focus on the plant and what it's going to do for the vinyl community going forward, because that's really what it's all about. A lot of the other issues that are out there, they're going to shake out however they're going to shake out. But really the trip overall, other than Southwest getting us back home, was really great. I mean, we're supposed to get home about 11:45 on Thursday night. We got home about 2:30 at the airport, about 3:15 at the house. So
long night.
Did I see? Okay, let me just display this. It's easier. Did I see any albums in the works in that factory? Yes and no. Everything that we saw being pressed was white label, so we didn't necessarily know what the content of it is. We do know, I can tell you that Dave Rawlings and Gillian Welch, their catalog is going to be the first stuff that's pressed there. So my guess and instinct, of course, is that everything that they're pressing right now is from that, and that I know Dave's going to be very involved in approving those test pressings and the formulations. So everything, I think, at the very beginning is going to be out of their catalog. There's an announcement that's imminent in the next 30 days from them. That's going to include some things about their tour. And I'm sure they're going to be making those records available as part of the merch part of that tour as well. So they're going to be kind of the first things coming out of the factory that Dave is, the key investor on for that. So that's what's coming first. They are in discussion with other artisan labels for getting product through the factory that's being proposed right now. So, I think we just kind of have to realize they went from a company and pressing arena that purely was going to be supporting one reissue company and maybe doing some other things, but that was going to be the majority of what they did. And they went from 100% to 0. And so they're starting new as a, kind of sales and marketing piece of the business. They didn't really think they were going to have to do that. They thought they had intrinsic business that was just going to be at their doorstep. And similarly, VMP thought they were going to have a pressing plant they could just go to and say, do it. Here's my priority list here. Let's get these out. So, on the VMP's end of the business, they're now having to go to other places. And I've heard they're talking to RTI and Furnace right now to get their catalog moving. So we got to recognize something as it really relates to this in a macro sense, and that is, look at the business model that existed. The business model was VMP with a high stake and other investors, but main stake in this plant and planning for some time to start to get product out of it. And the end of 22 came and nothing came out. And, the mid 22 came and nothing came out. The end of 20 and then 23 and nothing. So they, when you do business planning, you do it 2 years out, whatever, you have agreements with artists, and all of a sudden, maybe they were saying, well, we're going to not have to farm this out to pressing plant X. We're going to press it. So they had to move all those plans out. And those things also, I think, probably affected their cost footprint, because I would imagine it would be more expensive to pay to get it pressed outside than do it internally. So that contributed in some way, I think, to maybe their performance as a business from a financial standpoint too, because I think they had expectations that they were going to absorb some of those costs and then have lesser pressing costs because it was their plant, and none of that came to fruition. So, so that's part of the deal as well from the VMP side. The plant side was always about getting ready and getting product, but there were the things, as I mentioned in the video, that, held that back from a timing standpoint. And then the thing that happened in March with the legal case and that just kind of threw the cherry bomb in the whole thing, really, at the end of the day. So
Yeah,
hey, Novice Nick, how you doing, Nick?
Yeah, and I can't say that it's not like we saw a bunch of jackets.
Oh no, there were no,
even if we did, we couldn't say. So.
Yeah, there was really no real inventory for jacketing or anything like that there. I mean, the truth is, when we walked into the place, Brad, give you a chance to talk here, because we walked in, there was a side door, and we walked in. And so what was your first impression?
Well, I looked through the window.
Yeah. Okay.
And I didn't see much.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh no, this isn't as far along as we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But we just saw kind of half of the space. And then there's a big wall with a bunch of art on it. Actually on both sides, which is another interesting story.
Yeah.
That kind of separated the two parts of the operation.
Right.
And we just saw the side that I guess will end up being like packaging and shipping and that sort of thing, which is not as much built out.
Oh no. No, they had one set of shelves and some cardboard on it, a wide open area. You could have had a little skating rink there in the front if you wanted. And I think that was the public space they intended to have, down the road. So a lot of this stuff about they got this ready to go and they're going to, invest in the system and all and it's like, we didn't see any evidence of any of that really, to be honest. So it wasn't like they were sitting there ready to, with a bar and a boutique or whatever, I had in my mind a vision almost. Mm-hmm. And when I walked in, it was, very raw, bare bones, and that kind of thing. And, see, his thought was, there ain't much. My thought was, did they move out last night and I didn't get an email or what? Because all the presses are on the other side of this wall with this artwork on it.
And that part is fully built out.
Yeah, that is fully built out.
That's what we showed mainly.
Exactly. That footage, and so really the way it's laid out, if you look from outside windows, you don't see the pressing plant. Mm-hmm. You don't see the machines. It's the way that's walled off in an L. You don't see that, probably purposefully. I get that too. Only way you can see it is through a side window on one side with a parking area, and that is gated off. on that one side.
Right.
So anyway, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, it was an interesting thing. Looks at there, literally just
above there.
Oh, sorry.
Is the plant in Indiana still in business?
The plant in Indiana still in business. Do you mean is this a VMP related question or a general question? Because I'm not sure which plant you're talking about. So if you can answer that, just clarify. Maybe you were talking about, if you were talking about the Sony one that I showed in my video, the answer is no. The one that used to be Columbia, it is not, if that's what you're asking about. It is, and I'm going to do a video on that. I've just never taken the time. But I mean, I took pictures from outside, inside, and there's still office space set up and everything. And it's been non-active. They moved all that to Austria. All the compact disc things went to Austria and the optical.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like they are literally just getting it ready. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it is. Hey, Jack. Yeah. So they are really, yeah, they're just getting it going. That is precisely it. Yeah, Columbia. Okay, yeah. No, that's and again, I'll be releasing a video on that. It's funny. I did all the research, and I went there and took as much video as I could of the surround. It's a big, huge blocks, several blocks. I mean, city blocks.
Really
wide. And a bit city block deep. Yeah. I mean, between the warehousing and the production and
was that the Terre Haute?
Terre Haute, exactly.
Okay.
Terre Haute. Yeah.
So when you see that in records, the
like T1. Yeah, and that's what I said in the that's exactly what I said in my video. And also Columbia House, the record club that was done there. But yeah, these records that have a T on it, those are definitely straight out of that plant. And then they turned it into an optical plant. I think he mentioned that they were still experimenting with the formulation of the vinyl. No need for production until that's decided on. Yeah, and I think they said they were pretty settled on what they had come down to. And I'm sure that's the test pressing. They were what you saw there in the video, they were doing test pressings for I'm sure it's one of Dave's albums or Gillian Welch, because they're like a team, and they've done different vinyl formulations. They're trying to settle on one, but I think they're really in the in the 98th percentile of firming that up at this point. Mm-hmm. So
now there's the question of the night, the one above that one
here.
Yeah.
Who is Brad? Oh, that's a great question. No, that's now Jack, or I think Jack's a young guy that's getting into music and records. So who is Brad? Who is Brad? Well, Brad's kind of my wingman, I guess I would say, but here's an interesting story, right? I mean, the VC community, I mean, it's amazing. So back not long after I started my channel, and Brad, you'll have to say how you even discovered the channel. Mm-hmm. But Brad reached out to me after a shootout that I had done, and why don't you? And it's ironically right behind us here, right? So go ahead. Why don't you tell the story?
Yeah. So I had started watching your channel not long, really, after you started.
Okay.
But I honestly can't remember how I found it.
Mo-fi thing, maybe.
But it seems like it was before that. But,
okay.
But it could have been, how YouTube will pop up channels you may like, that sort of thing, you know. And if you watch enough other, folks in the VC, that'll happen. Anyway, you had done the Fleetwood Mac self-title.
Yep, there it is. We didn't plan this.
No. Shootout a little over, well, it was maybe, 15 months ago. It seemed like it was like last March, something like that. Anyway, in the different pressings that you had used, you didn't have the Ken Dunn original.
Kendun, right?
Yeah, which is Ken Duncan.
Right, Ken Duncan.
Yeah, very good mastering engineer. And I happened to have one, so I just reached out via your email address and just I sent David an email just saying, hey, there's another pressing that's, highly thought of. In fact, Tim, University of Vinyl, did a nice video on Ken Dunn with his mastering engineer series. But I had a very clean copy of that, and I offered to send it to David to include, maybe, include it in a updated V2.0 shootout. And that's really how we got connected.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things you don't just send people that you don't know records left and right. But just, you can get a sense of somebody and their character, watching your videos and whatnot. And I don't know, I just felt like, hey, I can trust this guy. I feel okay with sending him this record. And that's really how it got started, and we've been friends ever since.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, and like Chris Vinyl Piper, you may still be out there. He just sent me some of the Black Sabbath to shoot out against the Rhino that I finally got. So thank you, Chris. And I'm going to be starting on this week, but these are things, it's surprising to me that someone's going to blindly send me an album. Now, ironically, someone sent me a copy of the 2x45 of this album as well. And I shot that out. And now this Saturday, I got the Chris Bellman 2012, which is the same year and same mastering engineer that did the 2x45. There was a 33 release of that, and I didn't know that. And I bought that. So I'm going to be looking at, I say shooting it out, but at least comparing it. So, the point of the discussion, I guess, is you get these relationships that come up in the vinyl community. And I've had several people send me those. And I see that happening more and more. It's almost a trend, and that's good. I think that's really a solid way where I don't get free records. I have to use my own money. So it's not like it's something that I can afford to just get every one. So I appreciate that. So let's see. I would be curious to know what Chad would think of the setup there in Denver. I would too. No. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, here's the, there's the technical side of the setup. How good is it and all this, and he knows Gary, he knows Rob, the guy who was Rob Jordan. These guys worked for him. So, I mean, he knows the competence. He knows Mark, the older gentleman, setting all this up. So he knows that this is no fly-by-night group relative to competence. Now, looking at it from a business perspective, Chad has built up a company over a long period of time. He knows what it takes and the blood, sweat, and tears, that are involved. And he knows that right now, the demand for vinyl with the demand isn't quite as peaked as it was. And there's more supply out there. There's more plants. So from a business perspective, can they get enough business to get viable from a business standpoint? I think that's a fair thing that, again, as I said, that's something they didn't have to worry about 3 months ago. And now it's a new reality. So I think technically, I don't think, I think Chad would be probably very aligned with that. He was aware. I've talked to him several times in the process of this and going there, and we talk, and, it's not a matter, I don't think, of the competence or the equipment. It's really, you got to generate revenue, right?
That's the sad thing. I am old enough to be somebody's grandpa, but I'm not yet. So.
Oh, that's funny. Super cameraman to this. Yeah. So Brad, so how this came out here was I said, I did a plant in Addison, Texas here, and I had my son-in-law help me, who has some skill in this. He does social media, he does photography and stuff. And so he helped me, just in the same way. And I was like, man, that was a lot easier than trying to do it like I did, when I went to Chad's place, because I was, I was 5 months into this, 4 months, or whatever. I was just barely getting started on my own. So I figured, hey, maybe somebody like Brad would like to go see a pressing plant, and at the same time they could help me out. And I mean, I don't think he thought about it for like 2 seconds or more, probably.
I didn't. I've never been to a vinyl pressing plant, so
Yeah.
It was a great experience for me. Just kind of learning the whole process. It's one thing to, hear about plating and stampers and pucks and all of these sorts of things, but to actually see it done is a really awesome experience. So I really enjoyed the whole thing. You took a sort of a downgrade in your camera guy from
well,
your
no, I think
son-in-law that has experience there.
Well,
he did the best I could.
No, and he did. He took the time to go online and watch how you use it and play. We were playing with it the night before, and I think he did a jam up job for it being his first shot at it. So
it was fun.
Yeah, no,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was fun, and it going on a trip like that, it's a lot more fun going with somebody else too. Navigating the roads and the whole 9 yards. Yeah. Having somebody to talk to when you're having dinner, lunch, whatever. So it was a lot of fun, and that really for me, it's just like sharing the experiences, right? It's he came over and he helped me in my move, and I'm gonna when you move, I'll help you too, and that's these are just to me the best part of the whole deal for me.
Yeah, same here.
Old folks don't remember recent stuff, just stuff from decades ago. That's right.
Ain't that the truth?
It is. I can remember the lyrics to songs from 1962, but can't find my car keys. So it's kind of the way that goes. Yeah. So let's go Oilers. Okay.
Yeah, I'll echo that.
Okay. Well, since the stars aren't in there, Brad, you did a great job. Yeah,
Thanks,
you did.
Nick.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. The Stars kind of blew theirs. The Mavericks really blew theirs.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah, not pretty. Yeah, I think that was the other fun part of the trip too, was actually hitting some record shops up
Absolutely.
in Colorado. We went to several great places, many of which Tim had suggested.
Yep, Tim, University of Vinyl. Yep.
He lives in Fort Collins there, so we got to hit a couple of there, and one in Greeley, and at least a couple in Longmont, and
yep,
yeah, found some good stuff too.
Ironically, the two we didn't make it to were the big ones in Denver. We didn't make it to Wax Tracks or to Twist and Shout.
Yeah.
And given the delay in the flight, we could have. I mean, we could have gotten down there, but we were kind of afraid we'd be sitting in a record store and then they'd say, "Oh, never mind, you're going to leave a lot of than we said, and then we're going to be screwed."
I've had that happen before too.
Yeah, so I it was kind of like, nah, I don't want to chance that. But there was a store called Downtown Sound in Greeley, and a guy named Ben that ran that store. Shout out to Ben. Really solid store. I mean, I got there were these promos, these three up here, the Fleetwood Mac, the America, and the America. Those are all white label promos. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the Fleetwood Mac isn't. It's the regular color, but it says on their promotional copy. And I really try to get those because those are, if you didn't know, when a band is setting to do a release, they kind of pick a plant that they want to release their first pressings that go out to the market, whether it's reviewers or radio stations or whatever. So you're usually getting the plant that is their primary source and the one that they key in on, and you're getting the first pressings literally to come off the press because those are labeled differently, and they only do so many of those, and that's fairly tightly controlled. So there is there is something a little special about it beyond whether it just has a white label on it as well. So so got those through Ben, and just seemed like I saw a lot of promo records in Colorado. It seemed like really surprising.
Yeah, he had a fair number of 12-inch as well. I think the one I was real happy to get was the classic records of Allman Brothers
live.
Yeah, live at Fillmore.
Yes.
East.
Yeah, he got that at Ben's place. Yeah.
Yeah, which really rounded out. I have the Nautilus, the MoFi, and the Capricorn original. So sort of a bit of a completist on that one, but be good shootout fodder.
Yeah.
So
but you're seeing stuff you just normally don't see out in the wild. That's the thing.
Yeah, very true.
It's like in Longmont at Doug's place, you found the Nick of Time by Bonnie Raitt in the DCC vinyl version.
Yeah, Nick of Time and Luck of the Draw.
It had both, but you only bought Nick of Time, right?
No, I bought
Luck of the Draw. Okay,
yeah,
Luck of the Draw.
Yeah. And I've never seen that in the wild before.
So you got the Luck of the Draw, I guess.
I did.
Thing.
It's one of my favorite records. So I was real happy.
Hey, Wyoming Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Dave.
So, yeah, good. So that's what we kind of did as it related to this. One of the interesting things to me, and I didn't, this was something I didn't know at all, was, Jillian Parker, who we spoke with, she's been involved since the get-go, and I'd never heard her name or seen her or anything. And she brought a lot of cohesiveness to the conversation about what has happened over time, because she's just trying to get a plant going. I mean, she's from a business standpoint. So she's had to weather all of the situations, that have occurred.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I can say very frankly and confidently is, they're all very optimistic. You never get the impression there was all this dust up, I guess, going on. They're laser focused on getting records made and doing what they need to do, and trying to get through some of the red tape in order, to get that done. So it was really good to have someone there with that continuity of the process and whatever related to what's happened and how they got to where they're at. So yeah, I just think, it was just, they're a startup business, really, when you look at it, that's what it is. They've had plenty of time to get, things rolling, but, not able to get to the end point. They're in the red zone. They can see the goal line, but they can't. They're every time they try to advance, someone's throwing a flag on them. Essentially, would be the analogy I would say for it.
Very true.
Yeah. So that's kind of the deal. Let's see what Tim's got to say. Hey, Tim, how you doing, buddy? The lady in Longmont is renowned for ridiculous pricing. Led Zepp RL. She had it priced at 40. Wow.
That's surprising based on what I saw in there, because I would agree, ridiculous pricing.
Yeah. But she had some unique stuff. I will
Definitely.
say that.
Yeah.
There would be two copies of a similar record. One would be in pretty bad shape. The other would be in decent shape, and they'd be priced the same. Like, what the hell is that?
I don't think there was much attention to grading.
No,
really.
No. I'd say
that. I'd have to say.
Yeah, and if you want to ever be entertained, go look at the reviews on her in Yelp. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm just leaving it.
I'll just say real quick, since Tim's on,
Yeah.
Because I know he's a big Rush fan as well.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Rush fan. I found a Ray Staff Permanent Waves at Ben's shop also.
Yeah.
Pretty minty too. Great.
What'd you find at Doug's place? Longmont.
That was the DCC.
No.
That was a Hemispheres. Yeah, that was a George Kong.
Okay.
Hemispheres.
Yeah, I knew you found another one.
Yeah,
okay.
so that was another good one. Yeah.
So Brad was in Rush heaven, man.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Left.
With the increase in overall pressing production, hopefully they will allow the plants to just focus on quality control. Yeah. Well, that's going to be the discriminating thing. And, the one thing, and I've had some people comment about, Dave Rawlings is, I guess, is really focused on the quality side of things, and he has been. He's had stuff pressed through QRP in the past, so he's kind of like in his own genre, the Neil Young of that. Really wanting to pursue high quality. So that's a good marriage for them to have somebody owning them like that, I'd say. So yeah, quality is about it. Always be kind, friends. Some stores seem to be priced to keep the records rather than sell. Yeah. I've said that to people, like, you really like these because you're never going to see the money for, some of these. It's just like, yeah.
I definitely put that shop in that category.
Maybe show them good inspection light. I just don't know that that's in her DNA.
No, it doesn't seem like it. No.
Yeah, they're about volume, and they put them in these bins that have rounded sides and that, and I don't know how good that is.
It's like Rubbermaid totes.
Rubbermaid, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
And the thing is, the way they're constructed, I mean, one thing I could say, they had good markers, for who the band was. They had good ID. But, you'd be going way back in there. You'd have to pull it forward if you really wanted to see toward the back. Mm-hmm. And when I got, toward the back of the store, like Tears for Fears, it was the farthest one. Luckily it was on the end, so I actually could pull stuff from the side. And I literally had to pull it up and drag it forward to get it out of the thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if I'd have pulled it more than halfway, it all would have fallen on me.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like, a refrigerator might fall on someone, right, Nick? But anyway, we'll go into that story. But, and a microwave. I mean, it was a twofer. So, yeah, it was just a weird, the problem is when I go into the store, if it gets to be too much effort, it's like when there's so many in there, you can't even pull them out to see.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't have to work at this, it's crazy.
No.
I mean, at that point, they might as well, put them in 90 degrees and have the side spine facing up so I can just go through and look at the spine to read them, I mean, it's nuts. There's Elliot. How you doing, buddy? They streamed the other day.
It was a record cleaning machine, the VPI 16.
No, that's my attempt at humor. I said VPI sucks. Well, that's what it does, right?
Okay.
It sucks.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
No, they just suck. They suck. I mean, I was being accurate. You see, you gotta context is so important. It's just really important. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw anybody with that. It was it's like my Hoover really sucks. Just think of it that way. Okay, so that's my really bad. Great shop in Greeley. I went there recently. Yeah. And Ben's a really nice guy.
Fair pricing too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Be kind to your friend. Watch that, Nick. You're getting out of control. Yes, very enjoy the layout is
annoying.
Very annoying.
Right. Yeah.
Sure. It is. Yeah, you'd have to get on your knees, and it was like I was praying the prices would be lower down there, but they weren't.
Well, it seemed like every band I wanted to look at was in the back.
Yes.
So, like you said, you had to pull them out, and they're, kind of heavy, and it's not easy to do.
No, Elliot, I think their engineering is fine. I think my ironies are pretty off on that, I guess. So I'm trying not to confuse people. But so that's so we went after the pressing plant. I had sent an email to Paul McGowan at PS Audio in Boulder, just saying, hey, I know this is short notice, but I forgot about you being in Boulder. And I thought, we're going to have some time. We were doing this pressing plant. Can we come by? And he was gracious enough to say, sure, come on by. When we got there, he wasn't there at that time, but another gent, and his name was,
I knew you were going to ask me that. No, I have his card too, and I'm blanking.
You have his card. Okay,
I'll have to look.
Yeah, but anyway, we got
nice guy though.
Nice tour through PS Audio, through their engineering and their repair and their assembly. They're testing. They're showed us a new bookshelf unit that's coming out at the end of July. And then we got to go into their what do you call them? Sound rooms, I guess you'd call it.
Listening rooms.
Yeah, I put a picture of that up on I think the thumbnail here for this. So that was a lot of fun to go through there, and yeah, they have some really. I mean, their stuff isn't cheap. Let's be honest. But it's made in America, soundly engineered. They back it up in terms of, you get a 30-day listen to it in your home policy. If it doesn't sound the way you thought it would, you can send it back, get a refund or something else. They have kind of they'll work on it and fix it as long as they have parts, kind of a warranty. And a guy was working on something there that he said, yeah, we haven't made this for a long time, but we have the parts, so we're fixing it. So, and then a trade-in policy.
Yeah, a trade-in policy, which is pretty generous.
Yeah, I've heard it's generous.
Yeah, as far as the value that they'll give you on your old equipment to, when it's time to upgrade and such. So yeah.
Yeah, and we saw some of that equipment that has come back, that they sell it to another reseller who, that's what they do is resell. So yeah, it works out pretty well, I'd say overall. So
what did Tim say? Huge pet peeve
at shows.
Records packed so tight you can't even flip through them.
Yeah.
Move on to the next booth. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, if they can't, that's just courtesy there. If they can't, put it where you can actually look at what they've got. I agree.
Hey there, how you doing? New guy, gal.
Cool.
I've been trying to determine what is the best Allman Brothers Fillmore release, easily available and not too expensive. Literally been searching online over the last hour. Any help? So given, I mean, the new one, obviously you don't know yet.
Yeah. Honestly, the OG is really, really good. Hard to find, clean, plus the fact that it's 2 records. So it's twice as hard to find a clean copy. But I like it probably the best. The MoFi is very good. I think beats the Nautilus in my opinion.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm really excited to listen to the Classic Records version and put that one to the test. So yeah, we'll somehow we'll do a shootout and post that before too long. I know Jefferson
Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas. He did a shootout. So you might look Boot Raider. You might look. It's on YouTube.
What's his moniker?
Is it Tublandia? Tublandia. Look at his shootout. It's maybe a couple of years ago, I think. But check that out and see what he says. But hopefully be adding to the story with the Classic Records version. Sure. I don't think he included that in his. I don't know if he didn't have it or what. But stay tuned.
If you don't mind sharing, what did you pay for the Classic Records one that you got?
$80.
$80. Okay. $80. And yeah, so that's, I mean, it seemed like a reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at Discogs, and it was in beautiful shape. So I would say, I would say, VG++ near mint, whatever.
Yeah.
However you like.
Well, that's the thing too. You got it in your hand. You know what I mean? You got it there. You got, so.
Which I always prefer instead of ordering off of Discogs or eBay or whatever.
Yeah. So I know, Elliot, you do sell at shows and stuff. So yeah, if you're sensitive to that, that's great. Cause it's really important, I think, to make it easier for people.
Agreed.
So give that a try. Yeah, give that
good
a
luck,
shot.
Boot Raider. Check that out. And,
yeah.
And like I say, hopefully we'll be posting an updated shootout there.
The DCC was the Allman Brothers live at Fillmore.
No, the DCC was Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And they had Nick of Time, but I've got an OG of Nick of Time that I'm pretty happy with, but I didn't have luck of the draw which even the original is very hard.
Very hard.
That album was it 91? I want to say when that came out.
By the time they were shutting all the pressing plants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even an original is hard to find,
Sure.
and the DCC is even harder. And I just couldn't pass it up. It was minty.
But that other DCC is that Absolute Sound in Longmont.
Yeah.
Guy named Doug. If you had an interest in it, call him up, see what he'll do for you on it. And I'm just saying, if anybody would have an interest in that, because when I saw it, I was so shocked to see it. I never saw it.
They were back to back.
Yeah.
And he told me actually that he got a small collection from a guy that really just had audiophile stuff.
Okay.
Not more than one bin worth, but everything was just top-notch stuff, perfect condition. And so, yeah, as of last Wednesday, it was still there. Right. So if you want it, you might reach out to him.
Right. They also had a MoFi Goodbye Yellow Brick Road that was sealed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Now it was $340, I believe, if I remember right. But they are out there. I guess
they're out there.
They're out there.
Yeah.
I believe there was presence of AFE or the pink labels before they went to tan.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's the Capricorn pink label.
Yep. Capricorn. Because they had white and then they had pink.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Okay. Do you use any music streaming services? If yep, why? If no, why?
Well, I'll start. I have an Apple Music subscription.
Okay.
I like being able to sample things, especially new music, before I buy something on vinyl. That's just my preference. I forget how many songs they have available, but it's a truckload. So it's nice to have. I definitely prefer to listen to vinyl, certainly when I'm at home.
Yeah.
On my system.
Yeah, I don't listen to streaming at home. I listen to on my phone. For, like you said, there's nothing more intrinsically native than to sampling in digital. So if you're it's all about sampling with digital, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, to try it before you buy it, I guess would be the the moniker. Now don't steal that from me, Apple. But it's good for that. It's good for convenience. It's like it's like CDs, right? You throw it in. It's convenience, right? I mean, that doesn't. So
well, also the other cool thing is I've got AirPods, so if you have AirPods, you can really take advantage of the spatial audio and kind of the Atmos mixes.
You're a spatial kind of guy, I think.
Well, I'm a sci-fi guy, so I'm spatial. What can I say? But it is interesting to listen to some of those, and it's a different presentation, even being in earbuds. So I kind of enjoy doing that when when I'm on the road, listening to things and whatnot. But at home, it's vinyl if at all possible.
Yeah, and I use Spotify. One of my daughters had gotten a family subscription to it, so we just use that. I mean, I don't use it because I didn't make a selection because of Atmos or any of those other things that came later. It was more catalog, what was available. So
yeah,
they're all getting to be very similar. Tim there uses Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys heard anything about the Ellen Holdsworth new vinyl box set? Holdsworth, sorry. Nope, I have not.
No.
Anybody else on the Peanut Gallery might want to comment? That's fine. Please do. Okay.
Cool.
The UFO has landed. Really? Okay. I'll be watching out for that.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks. What planet did that come from? Uranus? Anyway. I don't drive enough to justify getting a streaming service. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Good point.
Can be good and bad. Streaming services can decrease sales and popularity. It does.
True.
It does. Yeah, it does. But titles. what Nick does stream, into his main system and all, and it does sound very good.
I heard titles went away from MQA and they're going to FLAC files.
Yes, I heard that too. Yeah. What? Uranium? No, jeez. Okay. Wow. Whoa. Wow. Yeah, great for convenience. Yeah, I mean it has its place, and some people, it's good enough. I mean, I'd be the first one to tell you. Most times, if I say to my wife, "Oh, how does this sound versus this?" She says, "I don't know. They all sound the same to me." So she, just some people, of course, it's just like I hear the song, I hear the words, I hear the music, sounds good to me. That's good enough. Move on. Some people really care about the kind of car they have, and some people really don't care as long as it gets from point A to point B. So, it's everything's relative to your own interests and things of that nature.
Well, the other circumstance I can say that I listen to either streaming or CDs even is when I'm cooking. Because nobody wants to get the crap on your hands on your records or even on the jackets or anything. So it's definitely convenient when you're cooking and it's hard to, take breaks to flip records and that sort of thing. That's another great use for streaming or even CDs when you're at home.
If anybody wants to join us, feel free. I just put the link up there. We're going to go about 15 more minutes. Dual 12.9 delivered tomorrow. Yeah. Fixmydual.com. If you have a dual that needs repair, that's the place to go. Fixmydual.com. I'll be interested to see what you think of the work, Nick. Kraft is re-releasing Tony Rice, Native American, mid-July. Sorry. Whoa. My mouse just did something crazy. Sorry. Okay.
Have to
Wonderful.
Sample that on Apple Music.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the tip there, Elliot.
Patina. Am I reading that right?
It's called, Patina, adds to the charm of the record.
Okay. And vinyl CDs, cassettes.
1 8-track.
1 8-track.
Nice.
But do you have an 8-track player? I guess that's really
that's functional.
Yeah. You won't know until, that's on me. I got to find my box that has my phono preamp so I can send it to Nick. Okay. Duly noted. You're right. Yeah. The older ones don't have built-in phono preamps or anything like that. So you're on your own more or less to get it connected, or of course your equipment, if it has a phono preamp built in, which was more often the case in the day. But then as AV, what I call AV receivers, audio video receivers came out, they
no 8-track player yet. I want one though. Okay.
Yeah, well,
cool. All right.
Well, get ready for the fact that on an 8-track, songs often are split between tracks because of running out of loop tape, and they have to fade out and fade back in. And then there's this nice loud click that occurs as that head moves up and down. So just letting you know, it's a little mechanical.
This is not good flashbacks here. This is part of my painful past is listening to 8-tracks.
Yeah, I really
as a kid.
The only thing about 8-tracks that was cool, they had quad 8-tracks, 4-channel, and they were discrete quad, so they sounded excellent.
Although I will say the very first time I heard Rush was on an 8-track.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
It served its purpose.
It served its purpose. Yeah, I guess it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it did. Oops, sorry. Wyoming Dave. What I hate about 8-tracks. Yeah. And then, the other thing is it's a continuous loop, and if they get a snag and then that head's turning it'll pull that tape out, and they're a bitch to put back together. I mean, cassettes are much easier to repair than an 8-track.
Yeah, that's true.
No doubt. 1219. I have 2 of them. Yeah, I've seen that you have some duals there. Duals are a workhorse. The only major issue is cart sled. I know you meant sled to tone arm connections. Sometimes go out. Yeah, you got to use like alcohol on those tips. And the other thing is they're a little bit spring loaded. So you got to make sure they're sticking out fully and getting full contact in that head. It's a nice concept, before head shells, but it's very, and you can get some hum in there. They're very delicate, I guess I would say, for lack of a better term, right? Yeah, you do have an 8-track that functions. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
Good riddance. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you.
I can't argue that. I was going to say that maybe they need to connect.
You need another.
If, Nick is selling.
Well, good. Maybe he's going to get a different grandpa then. That's good.
Yeah, there you go. That'd be fine. I'm not ready for grandkids yet.
Okay, we'll let that pass. How many tapes have gotten eaten over the? Oh my gosh, yeah,
lots.
Okay. Bill has replaced, upgraded the head shell, which he claims is a huge upgrade. Yes, so we'll see. Yeah, I really want to see when you get that, Nick. Stream to me through FaceTime or something. I'd like to see that change because I may send mine to him if it's worthy of it. Yeah, the innards of a. There is one thing that some of the duals have, and that is they have a rheostat that when the tone arm picks up, it shuts off the connection to the cartridge, so it goes dead. And then when it drops down, after it drops down, it then reconnects. So you don't get any of that noise there. Now, nice. The downside is if that connection goes bad or that rheostat has an issue, then you got issues because it's in the flow of that the electricity through that or the voltage through that essentially, right? So, yeah. But that's good. Jack's laughing.
Nice.
All right. That's good. So if any other questions related to the trip or the pressing plant or anything related to that, because I'm going to try to stay at an hour tonight because of other commitments, but I just wanted to catch up with you all on that. What do we got here? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them have phono preamps. The fact of the matter is the quality of those is neither functional, and I would say the focus is on the funk part of the word. I mean, they're fairly cheap. I mean, that's not the majority of the cost of that, so realize it works, but you're not going to get the best sound out of that, but it is convenient. But
yeah, one of the better upgrades you can do is in that situation is a dedicated phono preamp.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, you'll notice the difference.
Yeah,
and you don't even have to spend a bunch of monch.
No, not a bunch. Yeah, the shit Manny is like $150, for example.
Yeah,
it's
a good unit.
Yeah, it's a good unit for the money.
Yeah, it's solid.
The auto track seeking, flipping. Yes. Yeah, that's Nakamichi.
Yeah.
They did a lot of that. I had a $1,200 Nakamichi in my car. And this thing, it had a drawer like that popped out. And you put the cassette in it and you pushed it in. And this thing could rewind 90-minute tape in about 12 to 13 seconds. I mean, it flew. It had a flywheel on it that was that big and that thick. And when it would come to toward the end of the tape, it could sense the tension change, and it would go.
Yeah, slow down,
so right?
Unspool
and all of the electronics for the FM, AM, the tuner, and the cassette was in a separate box that you put under your dash, because this thing was all about the transport, the cassette transport. It was the Dragon of model, like they had a Dragon for home. This was the Dragon for the car.
Yeah, I mean, Nakamichi really for cassette decks They were, that was the elite.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
That's what everybody lusted after back in the day. If
Yeah.
you were a cassette guy, that's what you wanted, you know.
I remember when I was single, had money. Days are long.
Disposable income on stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why I ever sold that thing, I'll never know. Yeah. I had that happen on one day. It would take some patience, but it can be fixed without having to take the repair person. Mm-hmm. Yep, that's true. You can do it. You're right. Yep. Macintosh has, okay. Well, that's a little rarefied air. That's a little different.
Yeah. I mean, built-in Mac, phono preamp is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to spend a fair amount on an external phono preamp to beat that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a different scenario.
Different animal, mm-hmm. so to speak. So, what cart did you get for it, Nick? I know one of the carts you have is a 78 you got coming, but let him tell you what he got. Shit, Manny, great for the price, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. Using a keyboard that doesn't work.
Or he hit the enter
button. He did enter. He hit enter.
A little too quick, maybe.
Using or maybe his mind just froze up on him. I don't know.
That happens.
That happens. It does. It does. Lehman Decade
for my Riga.
Okay. Yeah. What cartridge are you using for the dual? Is I think what he wanted. Maybe Mo 10. Okay. Well, that's that Louisiana talk he's got going.
Right.
A little bit of that.
Right. It's Cajun thing.
It's Cajun. Yeah, they should cage Nick actually, but that's that's the whole thing. But this summer, just I plan on taking an excursion west. So I'm going to be trying to hit the record pressing plants in California, and obviously a lot of record stores. I'll be going through Phoenix. Hopefully get to meet Mike at In Groove. I probably won't pass. I don't know if I'll pass through Vegas or not. I'm not sure if it's going to be on the way or not. Ortofon, I think, is what. Okay, Ortofon OP10. Okay,
for the dual. Okay,
for the dual. I thought you meant Ortofon, but I didn't want to. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try to visit at least a couple of the plants. Obviously, MoFi would be one in Oxnard, and then RTI, about 40 minutes north of there. And there may be a couple other plants in that, on the trip that I'm going to try to hit, but really want to try to kind of be able to take a tour through different regions of the country in the next year, and do these kind of videos for everybody. And if there's any particular things that you guys are looking for, you'd like to see, that maybe if I'm out and that there's something out in a certain area of the country, let me know. I'll add it to the list. Try to be eyes and ears, kind of, so to speak. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you and your videos you do there, guys. Thanks, Belrosonic. Oh boy. I had the first America record back in the day. Yeah. This is a white label promo, actually. Doesn't have a sticker on it, but it's the real deal. So is the America Homecoming that's up there. Throw that back up there for me. So America Homecoming is as well, as is the Fleetwood Mac. So I'm going to do a shootout on America Homecoming, because that's one of my favorite albums. I've got quite a few of those to compare. So we are coming to the witching hour, so to speak. So It's over for Chris Hill. Okay. Not sure who Chris Hill is. Tried a few different carts. Ortofon 10 is on 2 of mine. Got the Japanese version of the 20 stylus for about the same price as the official replacement. Did you get that through what's the name of that? Yeah, always when I need something, it just drops from me, you know. There's a place you can buy replacement styluses. They do it for a lot of Shure cartridges. Anyway, I know I'll think of it. That's terrible when you can't think of things, you know, at a drop of a hat, you know it. And then when you need to recall it, it's like, where is that thought? Cab Aud. Yeah, that's not who I was speaking of, but that's another good source for cartridges and things of that nature. So that's great. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for joining and thank you for supporting the channel and for watching the videos and commenting, which is always helpful to me, and the engagement that's there. Please share with your friends. I'm about 25 or so from my 4,000 subs. So when I hit 4,000, we're definitely going to have a little celebration and some things that we'll give out, just like we did at 3,000. So you get it from a cart sales company out of Las Vegas. Okay. The one I'm thinking from, I think, is in California, but perhaps I'm due for a replacement. Yeah, well, we're all due for different replacements. All right. Okay. All right. Let's finish up here. Thanks, Jack, for coming. Novice Nick, KRWD. Thanks for joining. You guys have a good evening and stay safe. Take care, everybody.
See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.